All right, this is Michael, and this is going to be a sort of a tutorial on how I do my rubble wall explosion trick here. So first thing you want to do is obviously have a wall, and what I do is I make a 3x3 hole using your destroyed concrete pieces, and I just use these four right here, the kind of the half part, the little corner part, a little narrower corner part, and then the little sheet here. And you can use these in any combination. Just try to get them to match up on the edges so you have a nice kind of a smoothish hole. So the first thing you're going to need for these, there's actually 4 blocks that I've used, custom blocks to make this work. The first one is going to be a rock to rubble block, and then I have one that's also a fire hazard that's got some offsets on it so I can inset it into the wall. And then we have another block that will actually do the full explosion. I've tried combining the rubble and the explosion, and it just didn't seem to work, so now I just do them as separate pieces. So the first thing you want to do is to lay down the simple rock to rubble block here, and I just place it right in the middle. I might try to find a different block to use. I just kind of use the rocks because you can blend in if it accidentally gets exposed, but you don't really see the orientation of it until you actually blow it up. And yeah, I can't explode it because I've made it out of bedrock, so it won't accidentally get destroyed. Oops, I just walked over it. So if you walk over it, it'll actually do the destruction. So you can kind of see the rotation. And this kind of how I like it, because what I do is I will have the pipes going on this side with the flame going across. So you actually still have a place to walk through, but not while the flame is going. So that orientation works, and you can rotate the rock to whichever way you want to. So let me go ahead and get rid of that and place it down again in that same orientation. Now on top of that, I'm going to do the exploding rock, and this is just going to cause the big explosion. Now I've set this so it does very minimal entity damage, so I think it's only like 5 hit points, but I did set the block damage relatively high, in case you have, like on the sample I had a workbench that I had partially damaged that was kind of sitting in front of it on this side, and I wanted that to be able to blow out that workbench. And then on this side, in my POI, on some of these I had some of the upper wall cabinets, and they were weak enough to be able to be destroyed by this block as well. So once you've got those set up, I'm going to go ahead and set the triggers on these, and I'm going to have these just triggered by 1, both of these, and pretty much everything's going to be triggered by the same thing, triggered by 1. Okay, so now I need to get my pipes in there, and these are going to be kind of complicated because I need to leave a gap here, because I'm going to be putting these sheets in front to cover up the damaged area. So I need to have my pipes a couple blocks away in order to get that. So these are the ones I've got, and they're fairly heavily offset, and it just takes a while to get the rotation right on these things. So we go ahead and go into advanced rotation, and it looks like I'm going to want to have it kind of right there. So I'm just going to go here until they show up. So there's one, and I'm just going to use the same block. Even though they're all triggered, I just want to have one of them turned on. Oops, that's oriented the wrong way. Let me undo that. I want them pointing inwards. So let's go with, no, not that one. This one, yeah, this one. Oh, yeah, so I need to rotate some more here. Get you to show up. That's really hard to see where this thing is facing. There we go, right there. There we go, perfect. So again, I'm 1 block away, so I have room to put my sheets in there. So I'll just put all 3 of these on top, and I'm only going to activate this middle one. If you want, you can have all 3 of them, but this one's going to be covered up by the rubble, and 1 is more than enough to cause the flame. And again, I'm going to go ahead and set that. Oops, I got the wrong one selected. And this one's kind of hard to get get focused on. There we go, 1. And just to test it, yeah, we can turn it on and off just by using the activate key. So we have them both, we have it off now. They're all set to 1. And now I'm going to put my sheets in front, just like this, to cover up the hole. Mug it in there. And we'll do the same thing over here. Now I've made these out of bedrock just so people just don't know where, because I had my end loop behind this and I didn't want people to pound through. So if you try to hit it, you're going to hear the ding. You can make it another really hard material like a super hard concrete if you wanted to. But now what we want to do is set all of these also to be triggered by 1. And oops, I accidentally turned on the flame. Turn that back. I got to get close to get in front of that pipe switch. And so like so. And now you can have this triggered by a trigger volume or a switch or something like that. I'm just going to go ahead and grab myself a switch here. So we're going to have one to activate it. That'll actually set it off. And then I've got another, you can use any one of these, pipe valves and set it up any way you want. I have one that I have inset, but you don't have to use that in particular. Just so you have something to be able to turn the gas off. And you can run the pipes to wherever, maybe string it up along the wall and then go in the wall so it looks like it's connecting to that one. It's all part of the aesthetics for now, but that'll work. We'll do a quick save here. And we want to also set this one to 1. Okay, so now this should work. Let's go ahead and try a play test and see what happens. Okay, we're in the test world, and one thing I forgot to do before I went to the play test is to set the trigger on this one. So I went back and set this to be triggered by 1. So everything is all set to the same number. So if we activate the switch, it blows up. We got the flame here. So there's something wrong with the offsets for the secondary buff of the slowing down. I need to fix that. But let me try to go on this side. If I try to go this way, yeah, I'm catching on fire and I'm slowing down, but I think the orientation or something of that secondary buff is wrong. I may just turn that off. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let me get into God mode here and slip out of there. So now basically, come on, let's get out. There we go. Now if we hit the switch, now the flame goes off. So yeah, I just need to figure out what's going on with that secondary slowdown buff, because there's like so many different offsets for these pipe traps. It's hard to tell which one is where, and you don't see where they are. So I may just totally try to deactivate it. But that's the basic setup. Obviously, you don't want to have these. You want to have these matching whatever color that your walls are. I just did that to kind of show initially where the 3 block hole is at. So that's basically the setup for the whole wall trick. And again, you're going to need, let me go back to the editor and show you again the blocks that you'll be needing. Okay, and just to go through again, which sort of blocks you're going to be needing. Obviously, you're going to need your damaged concrete or whatever material. I would go with concrete simply because that explosion does cause some damage to the walls, and you don't want to totally destroy your destroyed blocks already. And then you're going to be needing these sheets. They're called loose corrugated metal trap sheet. But again, I made the material bedrock, so you might want to customize that and make it like a really tough concrete or something like that. Then you'll need the rock to rubble one, which will sit in the very bottom. You'll want to do the rock to rubble mine, which is going to sit on top of that. That's going to do the actual explosion. And then you're going to be needing your fire hazard offset block, and I'll see if I can fix that, so you can have one that actually works. And then just outside, you can either have it triggered by a trigger volume or a switch or a door or whatever you want to do, and you'll want to have some way to turn off the gas so that the players can go through again. Everything is all set to the same trigger number. So that's basically the setup on how you do the Rubble wall hole. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and hope to see you again soon. Take care.